All right, let's talk about a very real problem. We're going to break down a practical 90-day roadmap for any logistics team that is just tired of firefighting and wants to start winning. We're going to show you how to turn that data chaos, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, into a real competitive advantage.
You know this feeling, right? It's that sinking realization before you've even had your first sip of coffee. The week has barely begun, but you're already playing catch-up, and the data, well, the data is definitely not helping.
Does this look familiar? Finance is pinging you about detention bills. Operations is chasing carriers for a simple status update. A customer needs a proof of delivery, like yesterday. And oh yeah, the CFO is asking about those EU carbon reports. Everyone needs answers, and they all need them right now.
And that gets us to the core issue. The real fight isn't with a difficult carrier or a demanding customer. It's with the data itself. Your team, your expensive, skilled, professional team, is spending most of their time just trying to fix bad information instead of doing their actual job, moving freight. That's the problem we're here to solve.
Now, you might be thinking, we'll get to it eventually. But here's the thing, waiting is getting incredibly expensive. Right now, there are three huge forces colliding in our industry that are turning messy data from just a headache into a serious business risk.
So, first up, rates. Sure, container rates have softened a bit, but the market is anything but stable. Now the volatility comes from things you can't control, like war risk premiums, strikes, and all those surprise surcharges. And when you can't control the spot rate, what does that mean? It means you absolutely have to control your internal costs, things like stopping overpayments and cutting out invalid detention fees. It's more critical than ever.
Second, sustainability isn't just a nice-to-have talking point for the annual report anymore. With new regulations like the UK CBAM and the EU's ETS, you are now legally required to have auditable carbon data for every single shipment. Bad data doesn't just hurt your reputation now, it can lead to non-compliance and some pretty serious fines.
And third, the rules of the game for billing are getting way stricter. Here in the US, the Federal Maritime Commission has new rules. Carriers now have to provide detailed, time-stamped proof for any detention and demurrage charges. So to fight back against a bad bill, you need your own clean, reliable data as ammunition. Without it, you're just paying money you don't owe.
And this is what all that looks like in practice. We like to call this an IT problem, but let's be honest, it's not. It's a money problem. Messy data is a silent profit killer. It shows up as inflated detention bills, paying for things that never even happened. It creates a slow cash cycle, and it really strains the goodwill with the customers you've worked so hard to get.
Okay, so where do we possibly start? Well, before you even think about fancy AI or cool new dashboards, we have to do something much more basic. We have to fix the pipes. It's that simple. If the data flowing between your systems is dirty, no tool you layer on top is ever going to fix the real problem.
So what does fixing the pipes actually mean? It's three simple things. 1. Clean up your master data. Standardize your carrier and location codes so everyone's speaking the same language. 2. Make sure your data feeds, your APIs and EDIs, are actually healthy and complete. And 3. Align your workflows. Make sure delivered means the exact same thing in your TMS as it does in your ERP.
Now, once your data is clean, you can make it powerful. And you do this with something called a thin decision layer. And don't worry, this is not another massive disruptive IT project. Just think of it like a smart, lightweight set of if-then rules that sits right on top of the systems you already have, connecting them and turning all that clean data into automatic actions. So what does this look like in the real world? It means that if a shipment gets delayed, it can be automatically rerouted. If an invoice comes in and it matches all the data, poof, it's auto-approved for payment. And if a detention charge shows up that doesn't match your timestamps, the system automatically builds a dispute pack for you with all the evidence you need. It's about taking the human busy work out of routine decisions. Okay, now for the best part. You don't need some 2-year, multi-million-dollar transformation project to get this done. All you need is a focused, 90-day action plan. A sprint that is designed to prove the value and deliver real, measurable savings fast. So here's the roadmap. It's a sprint, broken down into 4 simple phases. First, we build the foundation. We clean and connect the data pipes. Then, we turn all that paper into power by digitizing and validating documents. After that, we bring the data to life by automating those key decisions. And finally, we make it stick by testing everything and training your team.
So, the first 3 weeks, it's all about that foundation.
We connect the essential data feeds from your TMS, your carriers, you name it. We standardize that master data to create one single source of truth. And we set up the secure pipelines. By the end of this phase, that chaotic mess of information becomes a clean, reliable, and safe flow. The pipes are officially fixed.
Next up, weeks 4 to 6, we attack the paper problem. Using OCR, we take all those PDFs, the bills of lading, the invoices, the proofs of delivery, and we turn them into structured data a computer can actually read. The system handles almost all of it, which means your team only has to look at the few exceptions, not every single document that comes through the door. All right, now we get to the really exciting part, weeks 7 through 10. This is where all that clean data starts to do the work for you. You start implementing those if-then rules we talked about, automating invoice approvals, auto-creating those dispute packs for bad charges, maybe even triggering alerts for potential reroutes. Your team stops chasing problems and starts managing by exception. It's a total game changer. And finally, weeks 11 to 13 are all about making this change last. We validate the entire data flow from end to end to make sure it's accurate. Then we train key users to become internal champions who can help their teams. This is where you lock in what works and create a scalable playbook for the rest of the business. By the end, your team doesn't just have a new tool, they have a new, way more powerful way of working.
So, after these 90 days, what does winning actually look like? And I'm not talking about small tweaks. We're talking about fundamental shifts in your costs, your speed, and your team's efficiency. First off, you're going to see 10 to 20% indirect cost savings. This isn't theoretical. This comes from catching duplicate charges, invalid fees, and billing errors before you pay the invoice. Every single dollar you stop from going out the door goes straight back to your bottom line. Second, you can expect a 30 to 40% faster cash flow. I mean, think about it. When clean invoices flow instantly into your ERP, you can bill your customers faster, which means you get paid faster. That's a direct improvement to your company's working capital. And this number is just huge. 70% fewer manual touches. 70! Imagine freeing your team from that endless, soul-crushing cycle of retyping and reconciling and chasing down information. They can finally focus on the high-value work they were actually hired to do. But, winning isn't just about the numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about the human side of things. It's about happier customers who get quick, accurate answers. It's having complete confidence when a regulator comes knocking. And maybe, just maybe, it's about your operations team actually getting to leave on time, and your leaders making big decisions based on data they finally, truly trust. Look, in logistics, the margins are razor thin, and customers are more demanding than ever. The clock is always ticking. So the most expensive option you have right now is to just wait. The real question isn't if you should fix your data, but simply how soon do you want these results?